好啦，9点了。我们今天要来玩一款2015年出，我2017年买，直到2024年我才把它载下来要玩的游戏。Her Story， 它是一款解谜游戏。然后标题画面长这样啊，点进去看看。一个一个字不见了。Search terms: murder 谋杀 ，Your login guest enter。我们搜寻谋杀，找到了4个影片。Log off。现在时间是2016 6月24是吗？还是？Database checker volume missing readme introduction to the logic database 全英文computer tech 这是我的人在这里，然后后面是灯光。Computer technology is the backbone of more modern police work. The logic database is one of the many continuing efforts to digitize our workflow and preserve evidence in a manner which will allow you to work more efficiently. 让你可以工作更有效率啦，反正这种东西。In the coming years, the computer will continue to be most valuable item in your crime-fighting toolkit. Oh my god! ，This database contains footage transferred from existing 救命哦！我懒，抱歉。各位，请容许我打开我的手机，直接把它的，直接打开翻译它全部的内容。岛内相机。该资料包从现有的凶杀到严重犯罪档案，使用技术自动排序，访谈参与者的每一份程序都会单独存档。如果要检索剪辑影片片段，请在搜寻栏中输入单字，例如抢劫，到这个资料库，然后就会搜寻，缩小范围就用多个单字，像是抢劫超市。你可以更精确，如果你有一句话的话，就是像是 Yes, I was there。如果要储存剪辑以供参考，按一下新增智慧 Add to Season， 会希望自己添加自己其他标签，以帮助将来检索。请单击用户标签框并输入想要的标签，你可以自己创造标签啦。想要更进一步，就是可以联系这个地方。这是什么 SB？ 嘿。这里是资料库，我提交一份资讯自由表啊，然后让您获得访客权限，看起来都有效。1999年 这影片1999年的，然后到2000几年之后就被封存，之后没人碰过。哦，所以这是一个旧时代的内容的东西。我来看一下，先从哪开始呢？940627，左边是最新的，我找不到去哪里调音乐。一个人脸 ，hacking for。等一下哦，我好像只能从外面调我调一下。我只能从外面调，所以 GR 什么什么 hack Cracker Cyber Ghost Legend You Never See Us。啊，我们来看这个11秒的影片。你觉得这是谋杀？明显的这是个谋杀。他可以做什么来帮忙？第一部影片。这个拿了一些资料。那个是他。7月的时候或2月的事情。Siemens。好，我们现在有的关键字有，抱歉 ，Siemens 跟 February。再检查一次。
Yeah, that's me. But February, that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder? I didn't murder Simon. You've got it
Simon.
Wrong. You've got the wrong person.
受害者是 Simon。
I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. Please. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other, just that. Stories.
好，这两个影片没有那么重要。这两个影片有这些词相对比较重要一点，所以我们先查一下这个受害者好了。哇，受害者的内容很多欸。6月18号，很早。
Simon Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows, all kinds of glass. Simon does the more special work, mirror making, feature windows, artistic things, really beautiful things.
在讲解 Simon 的工作，做玻璃相关的。
Simon is 6 foot, darkish blonde hair, average build.
长相。
If his beard grows, it goes ginger, so he shaves it. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with ginger hair. And border photo instead of spring photo. This was taken last year on holiday in Rome. It's the best one I have. It's the Rockington Arms, the Rock. It's run by a nice couple, Peter and Susan.
Peter and Susan.
Simon likes to drink with, and the barmaid they're having sometimes, Helen.
Helen.
He said Simon had been in and had a few drinks. It's the Rockington Arms.
Rock.
The Rock. It's run by a nice
Rock.
couple,
Peter, Susan.
There's some other regulars there.
Rock,
some
Peter,
likes to drink
Susan.
with,
Rock, Peter,
and the barmaid
Susan.
they're having
Helen.
sometimes.
Rock, Peter, Susan, Helen.
Peter said Simon
Rock,
had been
Peter,
in
Susan,
and had
Helen.
drinks.
OK。好。Rock, Peter, Susan, Helen。我不知道，看起来是警察游戏。这是什么？东南的这是什么字啊 ？Constabulary，不太确定是什么字。好，这个有这些东西可以记录。
Yes, there's an Amstrad one.
Amstrad.
No one uses it very much. There's a printer so you can write letters on it. Simon sometimes plays games, and Save the Princess, that kind of thing. Simon isn't the type to run off or do anything crazy. Someone must have done something to him, or there must have been some kind of accident. So what do we do next?
什么意思？我们好像没有听懂什么。只有这些吗？不可能吧。Murder 有4个 ，Simon 有61个啊。February 的话呢，2个。
Well, I don't know. I probably had to pop out and get something. That's why I was speeding, and that wouldn't have been noted on my timesheet. But I really can't remember back to February.
他在赶什么事情？
So it was Friday evening. We had an argument.
有争执，他离开了。
On Saturday he didn't come back. I waited all day. He was supposed to go.
礼拜六 ，Eric。
Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at the Rock. That's our local. They said they'd seen him on the Friday night, but not since. Still wasn't back this morning. Just doesn't like him at all. Still not back by dinner time. It's getting dark again, so I decided to come and see you. So that's what I did. God, I don't know. I mean, I guess the Rock. You've spoken to everyone there. Someone must have seen where he went.
这个时候还是失踪状态。
So many things could have gone wrong. No, no one has been in the last few weeks. We had a plumber come in 3-4 weeks ago. Someone Simon knew from the Rock.
什么东西？
No one has been in the last few weeks. We had a plumber come in
？PLUMB 啊
Someone you from the rock.
，PLUMB 啊。不是，只有一个影片。Rock。Eric 只会收到前面5个内容，所以我要找到后面，我会需要搜寻更精准的内容去找到。Eric.
He was wearing a shirt, a blue turtleneck shirt and jeans. He has a watch. It's a really nice one. That was a gift from his boss, Eric. He had his coat, a long grey duffel coat, black pants there. He would have taken that with him.
穿着，然后 Eric 是他的 boss。
Yes, there's a car that we share, a Cavalier, and a van he uses for work. It's owned by Eric, but we look after it. Both of them are there now, parked on the street. I'm not sure about the keys for the van. I can look for you when I get back.
Huh.
Yes, that would be in his wallet. It's a Visa, a silver one. He doesn't like to spend money he doesn't have, so he usually pays with cash, but Eric convinced him to get one. Eric was like an uncle to him. They were pretty close. They spend a lot of time with each other, especially when they have to go to conferences. Have you met his wife, Diane?
这没头没。只有4个。
I left the next day, Saturday. I slept for a few hours in the car. And when I woke up, I came straight back. Simon wasn't returning my calls and I wanted to try and make up. I got back to the house and Simon wasn't there. And excuse me. Is there a bin?
怎么了？
It was late. Early Saturday morning. A week or so ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house. It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Sam's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff. That when we lived there, that would maybe. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff, stuff we never needed, and I never had the heart to throw out. And I suddenly remembered that when I'd looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed, and that's when I called the police.
Huh. 哦，有比较清晰的不早讲嘞。哈。
Diane is really nice. She helps out with the glaziers, organises the Christmas party, that sort of thing. They have 2 kids, really sweet kids. She used to look out for me when I worked there. Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year.
有对到。
Steel. It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste. That time, you must eliminate me. I was in Glasgow then.
GLAS Judah.
Not really. He would go to the pub. He had his drinking buddies there, but no one ever really came back to the house. Sometimes Eric, his boss, and his wife would come over for dinner. That would be us returning the favour. Diane is a really good cook, into her trendy ingredients. And the last time Simon cooked something off MasterChef, he got the recipe off CFAX. And I did my Lloyd Grossman bit, commenting from the sidelines. I had to find fennel from the supermarket. Have you ever eaten fennel?
Have you ever eaten fennel? Oh.
Simon and Eric arguing? No, I can't imagine they'd be arguing. They get on so well. Unless it was something to do with work. Maybe Simon was being too much of a perfectionist. But I don't know. You should ask Diane.
Oh. 这游戏超没有头绪的啦。10个影片。
I got in the car and I drove. I just kept driving north. Just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could.
为什么他会一直往北
When
开
I finally stopped, I was all the way up in Glasgow. I was so tired. Just had to sleep.
他那天往北开很累，直接在车里睡着了。
I got to Glasgow, I was exhausted, so I pulled over and slept in the car. I woke up because a rubbish truck went past. I got some petrol, bought a coffee and a pastry, tried calling someone from a payphone, and then headed back.
吵架了吗？
No, I don't think so. Glasgow was deserted that early in the morning.
干的。
think so. Glasgow was deserted that early in the morning. When I arrived in Glasgow, I was exhausted. The streets were empty. I was driving badly. And I hit a taxi. Not a big crash, just paintwork. The guy was so pissed off because I didn't have a driving license on me. But when I told him I was pregnant, he made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The hospital must have details when I was looked at. There's a scratch on the car.
医院，这个里面医院，我觉得医院可能是个很重要词哦。沙漠只有一个，那医院3个，医院只有3个，就这样。
I don't see how it's hard. We've established I was in Glasgow when he was killed. You've spoken with the hospital. I don't see how it's hard. We've established I was in Glasgow when he was killed.
Establish.
I don't see how it's hard. We've established I was in Glasgow when he was killed. You've spoken with the hospital.
Yes. 要完全对的字。
It's like I told you before, I drove. I took the car and drove. I don't have my own car, but I have a spare set of keys. I just drove north. I wanted to think there's some space between me and them. Everything I told you before is true. I stopped at Glasgow. I was tired, exhausted. I pulled out and I hit a car. My car was okay, but I was worried about the baby, so I went to A&E to get the okay. Everything was fine. Slept in the car. When I woke, I tried to call Hannah from a payphone. She wasn't answering. And then I decided to drive back. I had to...
Hannah
From a payphone, she wasn't answering.
哦，刚刚不是说打他的电话不是吗？好像不是吧
I had decided that she was more important to me than Simon.
这个人是谁？哦，18个。
My name is Hannah. Hannah.
他叫 Hannah。
It doesn't work from America though. It's not quite symmetrical, but well, you get the idea. Sorry. Hannah Smith. I live at 31 Gladstone Street.
Hannah Street.
My name is Hannah. On Gladstone Street.
Gladstone Street.
Hannah Smith.
哦，我搜寻列表有搜过 Gladstone 有，哦 Glasgow。 那是 GLASTONE， 只有 GLADSTONE。好，这怎么了？ Eve. Eve 不知道是谁。
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith.
测谎。
Shit. Sorry.
测谎。
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. Oh, shit. Sorry.
测谎。
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence.
Florence.
When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time.
Huh?
The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead. But I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
Huh? 荧幕刚是不是按了一下？Florence。What?
She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. There was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place.
ATTIC。我刚刚荧幕又按了啦，干嘛啦？这个要加，这个很。
Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy.
她是双胞胎。
Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion. Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror. She was me. Florence was a warm, kind person.
Oh.
But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story was in there. I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand. I guess I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. You know, you married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. honour the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know.
Oh.
No. It was just me and her. Eve was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when it came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week. It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it.
哦，长发公主的故事。
So that's already happened. So she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind, but she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much?
It's happy ending.
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me.
Huh?
He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present. Another mirror. Just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the art. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off.
What?有凶器了欸。
It wasn't the present so much, it was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while. The present was a mirror, a nice mirror. He'd engraved the glass, the kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it specially for me. The mirror. I can't remember. I put it somewhere safe. Upstairs, I think. I haven't looked at it since.
荧幕按掉应该是我找到关键的片段。
He normally solves them properly. This mirror, it's supposed to look antique. The reflection isn't as good. It's the perfect mirror for someone who doesn't like to look at their own reflection.
不是。搜一下 Eve。7个。
Well, my friend Eve. I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes. Yes. We'd fight. We walked on the beach once, and I held Eve's head underwater. There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach, and I held her head under, and I kept it out. And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her and watch her drown. But that was it. It was just a moment. We made up afterwards. It was a love-hate relationship. A police station. Yeah. When I was young, we ran away.
我现在连25%都还不到，因为那成就没跳出来。
In London, and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. This is the taxi driver we paid to drop us off. I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve, so my parents let me off.
哦，那有关键字吗？ 审讯。
My mother called me Eve.
他是 Eve， 这个审讯的人才是 Eve 吗？啊 ，Eve， 然后另外一个人叫做。 多了一个影片。
Mum and Dad had never had any reason to notice. They were always busy. If Hannah was eating a lot, they didn't mind. She didn't put on any weight. That girl has a healthy appetite. If they heard us talking in the attic, they just thought it was Hannah playing one of her games, and that Eve was our imaginary friend. Once, she was already up and dressed and ready to go to school, and I snuck down for a piss. Mum saw me in my underwear, she went mad. Get dressed this instant! So I ducked into our bedroom, and seconds later, out came Hannah, dressed and ready. Mum was amazed.
不是双重人格。好。 多一个斜线，12个影片。
Yes, I inherited it from my parents, so it made sense to move back. We felt like going back to old ways before reminding me of being a girl, the dollhouse in the attic, old things. We didn't sleep in my parents' bedroom for a long time. We decorated it as soon as we moved in, but it was another year before we started sleeping there.
哦。想一下。
Yes. I read a lot as a child and watched lots of TV. Then the doll's house we had, we still have in the attic. It's kind of a fairy castle. We used to play up there and read stories. Could the hairs have come from somewhere else? I mean, could they... We have a lot of dolls in the attic. There's a Rapunzel doll with long blonde hair. Could they have come from there? I'm not sure where the dollhouse came from. I don't know if it was given to them or they inherited it. I mean, they wouldn't have had the money to buy it. It was so huge. It must have been taken up to the attic in parts and then reassembled up there. It's a beautiful thing. Wallpaper to scale, little furniture, the lights work, mirrors, beds, duvets and pillows. We spent hours and hours playing in it, invented all these characters and families who lived there. We wrote paperwork from them all, passports, diaries, and gave them all really elaborate stories. Once, a moth got trapped in there. We'd left a light on. It was making the most horrendous noise. We tried to kill it, but it was tough. We ended up crushing it under a copy of the Arabian Nights. The legal stuff was completed very quickly. Hannah moved back in with Simon. Eric gave Simon the week off to help with the move. He decorated, modernised wallpaper curtains. Hannah insists the attic be left as it was, dollhouse and all. Simon never went up there.
Oh.
Differences? She's a better driver than me. She passed the test for us. I tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. Learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything. She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl. Hannah met him first. She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin. She had lots of excuses. After a while, we decided that I should take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise, pulling a tooth, a graze. We used a hairbrush. After that, we took it in turns, though. I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon.
前面有一个人
Differences?
叫做 Carl。
Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous, didn't want to share. Even the first date. We went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went. Kept changing places in the toilet.
Huh?
We only had one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me, but that was it. We didn't want another Carl on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules.
Wow.
Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
Pregnant 这个词应该蛮重要的。
That's when she got
pregnant. pregnant.
The parents decided there would be a wedding. After the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no way I could follow, so we were separated again. I stayed in the attic. No. The parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no way I could follow, so we were separated again. I stayed in the attic. It was hard. It's like I suddenly didn't exist. I would sneak out, but in case anyone recognized me, I started wearing a wig. Hannah and I would meet up in the park. I was trying to get pregnant, but I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do it with anyone we knew, so it was sex with strangers.
Wow.
Drunk guys I'd met in clubs, parks and alleyways.
Huh?
I was 17. It felt like I was being punished. And it was Hannah who had betrayed us. I had to stop when one of the guys gave me an STD. When we met up, it was disturbing. For the first time, my reflection, she didn't look like me. She was fatter, flushed. If anything, I was getting skinnier. I had a hard to look sometimes. We talked about what to do. Was it time to become our own people? I mean, that seemed like the right thing to do, but neither of us wanted it. We agreed that her and Simon would get their own place as soon as possible, and then I could move in. And that was the plan.
又按掉了。哦。
Hannah had a miscarriage. This was late in the pregnancy and it left her infertile. Felt like the universe had corrected its course. We were aligned again. But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents. They were married. Simon had a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school.
好难哦。好。好乱哦。哦，哇哦！10个影片。
I got pregnant. Both our parents had a big powwow. We weren't even in the room, and they decided we should get married. Yes, I'm fine. I won't be sick again. This happens some days. I'm pregnant.
她是孕妇。
No. Well, yes. You found out on my birthday. I told him I was pregnant.
可以围绕着
Can you imagine?
这个女生， 她想成为吗？ 她的双胞胎的这个，哇哦！
My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty though. I mean, how could we stay the same now? Felt like Hannah had really fucked things up. Set us down separate paths. We had become different. I think it was that time, the first time at the house, in his bed, that I got pregnant.
她的确也怀孕。
This fucking magic sperm. And they say lightning doesn't strike twice. I didn't tell him. I missed 3 periods. I had pretty irregular periods anyway, but 3. I had always thought we were infertile. Both of us. I didn't tell him. Just waited. Hannah and I were meeting for our birthday, and I told her because I thought she would be happy for us both. I think she was.
Hmm. 黑白棋。音乐变奇怪了。
Can you imagine? I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. As it was so many boys. Men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. The bruise. I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes. I don't know if there's much more that I can tell you that I haven't already told the other policeman. I found the body. His body didn't look real. His throat. It looked like his throat had been cut. And I didn't see his glasses. There's these thick glasses. It doesn't always work.
这个是他死的过程。
Really? What's the rest? Made a body of a doctor. Oh, the wind and the rain. Till a fiddler with a fiddle came walking by. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle bow of her long hair. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made a fiddle bow of her long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made fiddle pegs of her finger bows. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made fiddle pegs from her finger bows. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle out of her breastbone. Oh, the wind and rain. The sound could pierce a heart of stone. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain.
哦，
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me.
两个人是同一个还是？
Another mirror. Just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off.
他说的故事是这样，就是反正目前这个小时我们知道的内容就是有一起谋杀案 ，Simon 这个人被杀了，然后
I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing.
12:05 7月3号
Just that. Stories.
12:05，他聊完了这么多之后，说你没有证据，然后他原本说他是 Hannah， 跟 Simon 还有他的上司什么关系很好，然后这个人是 Eve， 两个人一直不断的交换身份去接近一个人，或者就是不知道为什么，然后因为一次的意外，全垒打了，其中一个人怀孕了，突然间被迫分开，但后来又找时间，不知道要怎样，还是他们就撕破脸了之后，这个男的有可能脚踏两条船，结果又不小心连送2个礼物给同一个人，然后那个人就疯了，在男生同时间打他的情况下，自我防卫，把这男的给杀了。好，目前大概得知的剧情是这个样子。哦，现在 10点了，今天就差不多了。这个游戏这样一直在找东西看剧情，而且没有中文，有一点点相对来说互动性比较低，有点可能相对还好，所以可能找个时间，我可能自己玩玩，或者就是再看要怎么办吧，或者是用其他方式可以比较好的弄完之类的。好，那今天先这样吧，感谢收看，88888。